And welcome to Bunny's Designs. Hope everybody's well. Oh my goodness, I have my Thursday croak. I've got my Thursday croak and I have one job to do. Bear with me a second.
I'm going up to the garage.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know there was around. I'll see if I can get rid of it. Oh dear. Because I couldn't get. I was on at 9 o'clock. Melody, sorry. I was on at 9 o'clock, and it just kept whizzing round and round and round, and said you weren't connected. I'll just bear with me a second. Sorry about that. So I'm in real trouble today, guys. Sorry about that. I just have to drink my coffee. I'm in real trouble today. I've woken up with a croaky voice, and I tried to do the normal internet thing, and it just kept whizzing round and round and round. So I had to turn and the laptop wouldn't do anything. So I just had to completely turn everything off and start again. So apologies for that. And I must just finish this coffee because I'm croaky voice. So I've found a planner that I think I want to work with. I've been quite poorly again over the weekend. And unfortunately, this silly bad head has come back. So that's not particularly nice, unfortunately. Just have to put the phone over there. Alfie's on the sofa looking sheepish. Nigel's just popped upstairs because I took my ring off last night. I don't know why I took it off. I never take it off, but I did. Well, bear with me a second. I've just got to do something else. It's going to be one of those mornings, guys. I can't remember anything this morning. Oh, yes, we know. I just need to zoom in one. That might be better. And thank you, Dan. Did you check it was in there? No, it's not. Oh, it is. Thank you. So at the Abbey, we have... oh, I've got my little cat ears. At the Abbey, we sell these little... it's like a little purse. And it's a tiny jewellery ring. So if you're going away for the weekend, but what I do is I keep my things in it that I use it around with me, but I haven't recently. But when I was feeling better, I used to carry it around with me so that if I went away, if I went out anywhere, I would undoubtedly forget to put my bracelets on. And then in the Abbey, we found these little cat earrings, and I couldn't resist them. So that little pussy cats. So I bought a pair of those. So I've got that planner. This is it's a planner, but it's more of a kind of, it says for goals and things, but it says includes mood, sleep, and health tracker, and a happiness goals. And it was quite a little find. I think it was £2.50, so it wasn't too expensive. And basically, you track your mood, your happiness, sleep, mindfulness. Be ambitious about your future, but don't wish away your present. And then we have healthy style and just some note paper at the back. So I thought that would be quite good. As I say, it wasn't too expensive, but I thought I'd keep this by my bed because to write notes of if I wake up with my headache, because I can't always remember. And I've covered chat up. Sorry, guys. Beg your pardon. Hi, Katrina. Welcome to Bunny's Designs. So I thought I'd keep this by the bed. It's not particularly expensive paper, but it's quite thin. It's nice colors, obviously. And again, what I would do is, because obviously when you wake up, they give you an example here of bedtime, total sleep, wake time, sleep quality, and I have to put whether I've taken the amitriptyline, because I didn't take it last night because I've had a very dry mouth, and it could be that. So I didn't take it the night before last night, but I did take it the night before, and it didn't work. Oh, you have a nice little bookmark as well. So I thought this would be quite a good. I mean, I hate doing things like that. I hate thinking, does this hurt? Does that hurt? Do I feel this? Do I feel that? Because I try not to concentrate on that. But just until the new year, I want to track what's happening and how I am so that I can have, because I forget things. So I have a clear plan that if I go to the doctors and I say, well, look at this, I haven't slept for months and things, it's all written down there. So that's quite a nice thing. I mean, it's a positive thing, even though it's about negativity. Some of it's positive and some of it's negative. But I did start to do it in the back of this, in my Midori, purely because if you're going to lots of specialists and they always ask you the same thing, but in a different way. So I started to write down, and I've forgotten what I called it. And my bullet journal system's really simple, and it's with one pencil that I can draw with or I can write. And I actually lent the pencil to a friend yesterday. We went out on the train to Carlisle. She said, oh, this is a lovely writer. So I really like that pencil because you can write with it even if you've got bad arthritis. I put pills, pain, mood, diet for September. And then and so what I've done is I've been writing the day and the time and saying what pills I've been taking. It's all in really scruffy writing, so I don't really want to show it. And I didn't look at the page number. Daft me. And that was page 38. And of course, the bullet journaling, you write the numbers down at the bottom. Okay, 38. No, that's not what I was doing. That's not what I was doing at all. And that's not what I was doing. It must be another date. But all I was doing, and it was quite kind of pencil, just scribbling how I feel, what pills I took, what pills I'd taken, obviously, before, what time they worked and things like that. And it was a good thing to do because if you're going to see lots of specialists and they're trying to find out what the problem is, it's quite good to know because you can't always remember when you were poorly, when you weren't. Oh, thank you, Katrina. Yes, it is a good book. Nigel's gone out. Sorry, Melody. I will tell him in a second, darling. So this is my everyday go everywhere. And I just find the pencil. Pencil. Don't know where it is. I don't feel well enough to put my bracelets on because my wrists are a bit irritable. But so apologies that I haven't got my bracelets on. And again, sometimes. So I love this now because I don't know why I put this on. I think it was always twisting around. I really need to redo this because it's been years. And if you can see how thin this is. And when the lady when I bought this secondhand, this Midori, I think she already had this beautiful little pearl in there. And I put the bell. It's on a double loop. So that means I've got 3. Because it comes to here, so I can actually, it's on 2 different pages, so I've got 3 bookmarks in here, and I do have a few magnetic ones, but I took them out, and all I have in my Midori, I'll go through it, but what I want to do really is to redo this because it's going to snap, and there was a reason why I put this on, because it didn't twist. I put this on it, and it used to twist round and round. And if you put something like a buckle or a belt, so I think it's an old buckle, it keeps it straight. And then I put the pen behind it, and it just sits quite nicely. And how I do this is I made one of the folders for this, and it's just folded over. It's one of these. It's a Paper Mania book, and I don't like cutting things, so I think it's 12 by 12, and I just covered it round and round, and because it's at the back, it gives 2, and it gives 2. I wonder if it's time that I redickled this now. So I don't like wasting paper, so I've got this little bit to do here. And this pocket here, it's just folded. It's not glued, it's not anything, it's just folded. And because I have the strap across, nothing can fold at the bottom, and nothing can fold sideways. It's only the top. It's very rare this one goes upside down, so everything stays in it. Now I do have quite a lot at the minute, but the reason I use this is I use this for pending. So if I've got any hospital appointments, if I've got any letters to do, I just put them in here. Normally it's hospital appointments because there are quite a few. And then this one is pending. So this, sorry, that's pending. These are hospital appointments since I've been poorly. And so and I have a couple of, I was in hospital 2 or 3 times. So I've got a couple of discharge papers. And the reason I've kept those is my memory is going a bit, ugh. So what I've done is I've kept them there so that if I do end up back in hospital again and I can't remember, I just give them 2 letters. Or if I'm in a lot of pain and I don't want to talk, which is what this silly headache does, I can just say, you know, there you go. So mine's a bit chunky at the minute, but normally it's just that size. And I've got the square paper because I like it. And this is the one that I use backwards here because I scribble recent and in the inevitable future things like Thursday's plan and to-do list and things, because this is all about planning for months ahead. And this is days ahead and weeks ahead. And once you've done it, you don't want it clogging up the real system. So in hundreds and hundreds, I've only got 49, 50 pages, whereas I've been using this for months. And I find that a bit better. Now, what I really would like is how I do my other small Holbein Filofax. And bear with me a second and I'll find it, guys. Just give me 2 seconds. I did a bit of walking yesterday, so I'm really, really poorly today. Da, 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 da. And I found in a charity shop this bag. I was looking for the pencil and I bought this little bag for 2 reasons. One is I've got a pocket for the glasses because I'm terrible now at not putting them away. The Midori actually fits in this little bag. It does when I haven't got anything else in it. So it fits in there and I can zip it up. And this one is only thin, so I keep it as a pencil case. And I thought, because I'm always fishing about, and I thought, well, I'll keep my pencil in there, and then I can keep my phone in this one. Now, I haven't tried it yet, so, oh, no, I don't. I'm keeping my purse and my train pass in there, and nothing else. And then in here, I got... it's not quite organised yet. I have my little watch because I can't get a watch on the wrist, so I can get that over my neck. So I have my little watch that goes over the neck, which should be in the back pocket, actually. I've got my glasses, I've got some painkillers, and I've got my little pill boxes in here. One has pills that I use, and I'm not quite used to the colours of the pills because I have anitriptyline and I have a blood pressure pill, and the blood pressure pill is very similar, although I do know that this one has some letters on it. So what I usually do is not have this, and when I get used to it, I'll go back to my others. So this one has got, I think I broke that one. That's why I went to this system. But this is prettier. So I normally have emergency pills in here. So these are the breathing pills. But of course now I've got to take a blood pressure pill. So what I could do is is have the painkillers in one, which is what I normally do because I don't always take them. And I could have a blood pressure pill, a breathing pill, and I'd have 2 blood pressure pills. So if I put the 2 blood pressure pills together, I just had to take this with me, which is a lot prettier than this. But I do have to take this. The first thing I do when I get out of bed in the morning is or last thing at night, is I swap them over. So the day before, I take it out and I put it in my handbag. And that means that if for some reason I have to get up in a rush, which is something I'm not very good at, I have the pills with me. So, and what I do is I don't like my painkillers, but I don't remember when I'm taking them. So I put 8 painkillers in there. And at the end of the week, I write down and I look at the box with all the painkillers, with all the pills in. And of course, the bedtime one and the morning ones are empty. And in the middle, I can judge that these should be full and that this is from last week. So last week, I only had 2 lots of painkillers because I was doing the show. So I didn't have them during the day. I had them in the morning and I had them at night. But I didn't have them during the day because I'm sitting down. And so that's, again, even though I don't use them all, I wanted to know for a few months, till January, I put all the painkillers I'm supposed to have in here. And it's like the anatriptyline. I put the anatriptyline in here as well because I want to try and get off that. So I'm at the end of the week when I fill them up again, I can have a quick look. And normally, if I've been anywhere, I've been out in the wheelchair anywhere, there won't, if I'm at home in my nightie, obviously the pills are there because I've not used them. So that's how I keep track of what I'm doing. And I am taking more painkillers than I normally do. So just get my little pen out, I'll put it somewhere. There it is. I do like the idea that this is on here, but of course now this is tighter. If I had a pencil in here, it would pull. So I've decided that I want to go for a smaller handbag, and I can't get one on my shoulder, bear anything on my shoulder. So this is how I'm working at the moment. And that is quite a big Midori. You know, the Midori system, the bullet journeying system, really can hold what's in this one, this massive one here. So I've condensed it down to this. And I was looking for my little tiny leather one, which again, that would fit in there quite nicely. But at the moment, I'm sticking with the Midori because it's very simple. Everything's easy to find, and it's just a very easy system for me. So watch this space. And I found this handbag. What I look for handbags, if you've seen my show, just bear with me a second. This one. Now, where did I put it? So what I do is, we didn't have very long in Carlisle, and I was a bit lame. But we went into a charity shop. So what I do is I look for old handbags, old leather handbags. Let me get rid of that. So that I found that for £15, and it's leather. So it was quite a nice little find, and it's quite soft. And again, I can't do with really hard handbags anymore. If I catch myself with this, it doesn't hurt. Whereas if I've got some beautiful handbags, but they're really kind of nasty to hold, if that's the right word. So where's my second? We'll pop that onto there. I've lost chat. That's back now. Oh, Katrina, Alfie. How are you, Alfie? I'll take a quick photograph and show you. Let me see if I can do this. Have a look. He's just a boy. Because I can't move the camera right round. So we'll take the photograph. And then... Oh, I must have moved it, but that's what he looks like. That's what he's doing. He's hanging his head over this. I'm sad, mummy. So that's what I have looking at me at the moment. Sad mummy. He's just clingy. He's clingy. And we're having a bit of a, not a domestic, but we're having a kind of a discussion because I've seen one or two dogs that I'd like. And I've seen this one. Oh, actually, I've deleted it. And it was a white. It was about a 2.5-hour trip to the Carlisle yesterday on the Horton Ribblesdale. And that was coming back. We just caught the evening sun. And that is a viaduct. And if you see there's a little line there, a thicker line, that's us on the train going across the viaduct. It's the Ribblehead Viaduct if you want to Google it. But we just caught the sun, absolutely spectacular. And that actually is a photograph, but it doesn't, oh gosh, let me just hold it. It doesn't look like a photograph, but it is. The colours on there are just amazing. And he says, oh, it looks like Ayers Rock. And I think that's Penny Gent, that one. But even the cottage looks lovely. Yes, Melody, thank you. I didn't want to go, and I have told my husband I don't, because I just find it really difficult. But because we were on the train all the time, I think it was about 2.5 hours, and we had about an hour and a half there. But there's some quite nice, they've restored a lot of the old stations. And it's Harry Potter was not on that one, but he was on one of the other ones. So they're all like the Harry Potter station, if that's the best way to describe them. They're all kind of oldie worldy, restored. And some of the stations you can actually go stay on. They've made them so people can go hire them and go stay on them. And the views are spectacular. So if anybody pops along, go on the Settle Carlisle run. It goes from Leeds to Carlisle. It's quite a long trek, but it's just spectacular. I'm just trying to find some. The Yorkshire Dales. It goes through the centre of the Yorkshire Dales. It's very, very pretty, very beautiful. And we had all the. I'm just trying to find. Because I was on the train, and when I was holding the camera up, I can't hold it properly, so a lot of my photographs are really bad. Let's see if I can find one. So that's what the Yorkshire Dales looks like. And of course, it's a lovely train journey. And then all of a sudden, a lady popped up with a trolley, a bit like the lady on the Harry Potter train. So that was quite nice. And that was one of the first trains that I used to work as a trolley dolly. That's what I used to do. Oh, hi, Marilyn. Welcome to Bunny's Designs. Anybody else popping in? Sorry, I've got my croaky voice. If you say hi in caps, I can read it. So this was my health and happiness plan, which is private. So last week I had all my Halifaxes out, and I looked and thought I would like the smaller ones and the personal size. It's filling it's actually physically filling the files without having to ask somebody to do it for you. And I love my little one here. Now, if I go anywhere and the Filofax little pocket, it's a pocket one. Is this one? Is it pocket organizer? Lovely soft leather, and it's a wallet. So of course this is going to fit into my little handbag really well. And I have used it as a coin purse, but I do have a coin purse. Sorry, Big Ben. Big Ben. Big Ben's going again. Sorry, guys, I've stolen Big Ben. I may get back to this, but at the moment, with everything else going on, I do have to wait for Big Ben to stop. Sorry, guys. And I forgot to count the chimes, but how many we had, it's not the right time. And my daughter came home, she's dyslexic, and she said, Mother, only you could have a dyslexic clock. So this, I'll show it one day. It's a carriage clock, I think that's what they call it. But it has all the gubbins to chime. So it chimes a certain tune on a quarter of an hour. And what it was, the lady that has the kittens for the RSPCA, she has a grandfather clock. Now, I would love one, but not of my time of life now. But I wanted something to chime because I can't always look at my watch when I'm playing with feral kittens. So I thought that if I had this chiming clock every quarter of an hour, I'd know how long I've been holding a feral kitten. So I can say, oh, can you pass me another one? And I'll put that one back. Because I try to play and stroke a kitten for 15 minutes. And then I put that one down and I pick another one up and then we go around again. So we had quite a few kittens. And even though I was only there one day, having two, and there's a space while I'm going around the other kittens, I think there was about 6, that by the time I got to another kitten, the other one had kind of got over it, but remembered that I stroke it and I play with it and I chatter to it and I snuggle, that I let it go. And that they remember that that's what you do. And it works really well. So I wanted a clock that did that. So I bought this clock and my hubby went to pick it up. Bearing in mind, it's a delicate, obviously, it's got all the mechanisms. He put it in the boot of the car and did an hour trip. And when we found it, it was all the bits had come out the back and the pendulum had come off. And it was completely trashed. So I tried to get it to go, would not go. Months, year ago, would not go. And when I was moving things round, I'm rearranging the whole house so it's easy for me. Because I don't do any cleaning and it's getting on everybody's nerves and it's not clean enough for me. So I found some gloves that I want. I don't think we have them in this country, but I've seen a lady in America. And you put the gloves on, but it's a duster. So you can pick something up. And you're dusting it. But I want to put lots of things away because I can't do that. So I'm taking things out and making things really clean. So I moved this clock and I put it onto the table because it's not very big. And it's not as heavy as this Filofax. And it started to work. And I thought, well, maybe the mantelpiece I have isn't level then. So I have my mum's cabinet that I've brought down, and I say I'll show you this on one of the other channels. And it has like 4 little bubbles for feet, obviously to protect it. And so the top of my mum's cabinet is that wide. And so one of the feet hang off the edge, so it's not straight. And it started to work all on its own, even though it's cockeyed. But it keeps perfect time, and I haven't wound it for a week. I think it's probably a weekly one. I haven't wound it, and it chimes, and it says 10 o'clock, and you get 8 bongs. So I thought, hang on a minute, it says 10 o'clock, I get 8 bongs. So I wound I opened the front cage and wound the things round to say 10 o'clock. So at 11 o'clock, we got 9 bongs. And then I tried it the other way. I tried to wind it backwards. So it keeps perfect time, and it chimes the half hour, chimes the quarter of an hour, but it bongs the wrong amount of bongs for whatever hour it is. So my daughter said, only I could have a dyslexic clock, because we obviously rescue broken animals. I have a tree at Christmas that has lots of broken birds on it. So when after, when it's nearer Christmas and the pot and the birds for Christmas have been out, the Christmas robins and whatever is in fashion, because kids pick them up, the feathers fall out or they get broken or the beak falls off, the tail gets crunched. I go around and I collect broken birds that would otherwise go in the bin. And most shops give me them, but some make me pay for them. But I can't bear them to be thrown away. So I have a tree that's about 3 foot high. It's a topper from my husband's tree from about the 60s. And it's full. I've got a photograph of it somewhere, phone. And it's full of broken birds. And so I just collect things that are broken and nobody wants. And of course, my beautiful carriage clock, broken, but it keeps perfect time, but it just does not bong the right amount of bongs. So we just think it's so funny. So I don't know what it's just chimed now, but it should be 10, but I don't think it's chimed 10. May I have another call? Oh, thank you, darling. Look, I did turning into Ronnie Barker. Melody says hi. I just finished that one off, please. Absolutely gasping this morning. Do you want to take it? So I will very quickly, this might take a while to find, but I will show you my broken birds on my tree. And it's quite stuffed now. So of course, if a little bird's lost its tail, because normally little birds, if they're pot or china, they lose the tail. So I put them facing out of the tree, and the tail is in the fluffy tree. So that's what I tend to do. So you can't always see that they're broken. Oh, Alfie, do you really want to scratch my door, Alf?
Come on
then. Yes, it's me. That's the carriage clock. That's the said carriage clock. That's the one that doesn't work when it was on the mantelpiece. And that's a solid oak fireplace that I picked up for £40. And it took me 2 years to get it home because it has a lip on it. And when he measured it from the middle. It wouldn't go in the car by about that much. And it's solid oak. It takes 2 of you to carry it. And it has a secret drop-down drawer. I've never seen one. I've seen them at the side where they have secret compartments. But this one, the knob turns and the whole of that section. And it's like an oak bureau inside. It has drawers. It has shelves. And it's to keep all your secrets. And the dogs, I paid £1.20. These are huge pot dogs. I think they're actually King Charles. They're huge pot dogs. I didn't realize they were that big. And one of them was broken, but they put it together. And I paid £1.25 for them. And I went all the way to Harrogate, to Knaresborough to pick them up. And the gentleman had just put them in just a giant carrier bag with that. And they were clunking together. And I got the wheelchair with me. And I looked a real state with these 2 giant dogs. So everything I have, I cannot bear it gets thrown away. And this is the said tree. So every bird, and this tree is the topper of my husband's first wife's tree. And it's a very old, it has really 60s, it has really fluffy branches, which they don't make anymore unless they're a fortune. But all the little birds on here, they're all broken. And I always face them to each other saying, right, you can chatter to each other now over Christmas. And they're all broken. And I've got a couple of pot birds on the, but it lights up. And I have my silver, oh, that's a bit better photograph. So there's dove, there's robins, There's a couple of ornaments, and I've only done it once. These are my mum's from the 40s. There should be a little Santa on that one, and there's a little tiny one there. So there's everything on there is broken. And I have it in the kitchen, and I have my glass lanterns because I don't put the glass lanterns on anything else. So so all the birds on there are broken. And I didn't know if I had a picture of it when it's lit up at night. I should have one. No, I haven't on this phone. So I'll do a tour of the famous broken bird tree. Yeah, I did have one lit up at night. So they all look really pretty. So all the broken birds come out at Christmas. So I buy everything that nobody wants. Yeah, and a dyslexic bonga. So we had a lovely time yesterday. So I had all my planners out last week, and I decided what I do. Oh, that's right. So I found that handbag, and actually I was going to take it to bits, but it's so nice. I don't want to. It's too nice to. So this one was my mum's, about the 1940s, clutch handbag, and it's beautifully thick, and it's got that lovely Midori weathered look. And because it has these corners, and I could take this off and it would be a perfect Midori. It would be a perfect Midori, but I decided that I kind of liked this. So that's my Midori. And as it worked out, I think these are almost full size. There is a little slit difference of size. This is the same paper that goes in here, and I think there's a strip at the top, and that's the one that I use for a shopping list because it's a long strip, and I put a bulldog clip at the top, and then that is just kicking about for writing shopping lists, and it's perfect. It's perfect. If I look at the top, yes, that's the top that I've cut. And now what I normally do, but if I'm poorly, I just can't be bothered. You can round the corners and you put the piece that you've cut at the bottom. So you never see that nasty edge. Always looks lovely like the top. But obviously when I'm poorly, I just throw it in there. It's not, I used to put 3 figure-of-8 stitching, 3 holes, and you go through to make books, but they're just the typical Midori way. One's in the middle, and two are on the outside. That one's not actually in. Oh no, I tell a lie. This one, because I made it myself, it's a fake Midori. I double the straps. So I have 2 loops. I have the loop that's inside. Now in a Midori, you have a loop that goes down, which is on the inside. And what I've done is I put an extra one in. So this is on the outside. Move that out of the way. We might be able to see better. This loop starts here. And then where the knot is, that one should be on the inside. But I've put another one on it. And I just sit them together. And because it's got the clasp, and then these 2 I would put behind the rest of them with just a big rubber band or elastic of some kind. And this is the one that it was a planner. I don't know where I've got it. And it was a desk planner. And I cut it down and I didn't need everything else on it. So I cut all that off and it fits perfectly. So this is at the back. And again, this is my weekly plan, so it doesn't interfere with the bullet journal that I love. This is a new one that I've just obviously put through and not used. So the bullet journal would be normal. That would be for the monthly diary, monthly tasks, things that I want to do in the next few months, things that are happening that it might take me a couple of months or maybe 6 months to do a project. That's all in here. Ideas, future ideas in here. But then the back is what's happening this week. Planned, right? So I would do my YouTube channels. Well, I only have a Tuesday now that I do the YouTube channels, but I could make videos on a Monday. And Monday afternoon, because I do the cats in the morning. Now we've changed. Samantha's at uni on a Wednesday and a Friday, but on a Wednesday I could make videos. I can't go live for obvious reasons, but on a Monday and a Wednesday I can make videos. So that's extra time that's here that I can plan. And my problem is I'm not planning. My elastic bands are disintegrating because they're so old. So this, and then I used that weekly plan there was on the top. So every day, I can't find it. It's not far away. I'll get it out. It's the weekly planner, and it's the planner that sits on your desk. It's about this big. So I cut it down, and I cut the weekly planner that would be on the top of every week. I used one, and I stuck it on the back. So now I know that's my weekly planner. I didn't stick it straight, unfortunately, but there we go. And these are the strips. Look, because I can't bear to throw things away. So these are all the strips. This is what I cut off. Don't know why I kept them. Probably because I thought I might use them because they're quite pretty. So I thought sometimes if you want to put pretty things in, it's not me. I've tried it. I can't do stickers. I've got hundreds of stickers. I'm not that kind of planner. Write it down, do it. It's boring. This is Laura Ashley wallpaper, which I love. So it's kind of neat and I like it. I think this is going to be in a bag that I take about the house. So I take it to bed. I'll have it on the sitting room. I'll have it in the dining room. I'll have it outside. I may, if I'm going on a long journey in the car, take it with me because this is my planner. And I've used an old chain for one bookmark, and it's not brilliantly, a bit knotty. And that hangs down here, which I love. I think that's very oldie worldy, and it goes with the oldie worldy bag. And this one, I don't like it. It was a fishing wire, and I was obsessed with Tim Holtz little clasps. So I went to Boys, which is a shop we have in Yorkshire, and I bought some fishing hooks, and you can get small ones, mediums and huge ones, and they're about 90p. And they're not brilliant, but they're very, very strong, and they're quite pretty. And it means you can hang things, if you can see actually what it looks like. But it means you can hang things. Now, this isn't heavy enough. I want something that's heavy. But I used to take this out with me, and I was worried I would lose anything precious. But I think because this is going to stay inside a bag, this is kind of like my bigger version. So my Midori that I have all the time has got my ideas in. Then the ideas will be transferred to here with a bit more kind of structure. And then the desk diary, and it has to be a desk diary because it's really heavy. I'm going to get things all over the place again. Put things in this bookcase behind me and then I can't find them. And then we have the Big Daddy. So this is the one, and I have given it a good wipe. So this is the one I've decided is going to be, and I may just have to click out one. Oops, wrong way. So this is the Big Daddy, and this has, it does have a faded F. Yes, it has the pretty scrolled F for Filofax. It's been kicking about, it's old, but when I was poorly, I sat and I was really not well. So it was a case of, and I went to the cupboard, and it's one of the cupboards I've sorted. I have all my, what I call inserts. So all these for files, file folder inserts. So the squared paper, there's like a graph paper, and there's a narrow lined paper. Now this is the Ryman's one, and I love it because it's quite nice. It's better than cheapy Tesco's, or shouldn't say Tesco's, but cheapy, and it's narrow lined, so you get more lines, and I kind of like that. And then I put some in front. I just put some in each section, and I have the 6 sections for my new channels, my YouTube channels. And I thought, well, this is going to really get me organized, but I don't have to do any hole punching. And that's why I was able to do it. Otherwise, this weekend it would have been another project that I would never have got off the ground. And of course, this is the important bit. So I've armed myself with a pencil. I've got 2 mechanical pencils. This is the Staedtler Mars Techno, Germany, and I think this is the thicker one. This is the one that has, I think it's a 4mm. But that's for drawing. And then I have my other one for sketching. Now, what I decided to do, and I say I wasn't very well, so excuse the scribble, is I had certain things I needed to do because I'm organising. So I've moved my mum's cabinet downstairs. But I needed to move the desk because I put it at the wrong side and the radiator doesn't work. So hubby's had a couple of goes at it. And as you know, I misfix it. So I'm going to have to try and get the radiator. But when the radiator works, it's 200-year-old bureau desk, and it will warp. So my daughter came home, and hubby, they moved it round. So the chair's next to the lounge. I'll do a room tour when it gets done. And again, that's part of the organisation channel. And I've organised the house and everything for peace of mind and for ease, but also it's part of my disabled channel because people can get more organized. And if you're not disabled, you can still use these systems and you'll be more organized, and it would be an easier life in the house. So you don't have to be disabled to have these shortcuts and these easy things. But I did follow a young lady, and I've forgotten her name. I saw her quite a few years ago, and she had a system where she would write down what she needed to do in each room or each category. Hers was homework. So she had science, and on all the different homework she needed to do at university, she put them in order, and then she had to write down what she needed to do in each one. Well, I changed that. So I've got, and you don't put the highlighters first. What you do is I wrote lounge, kitchen, because the kitchen is half done, the bedroom's half done, the lounge is half done, and they're all messy because you have to break a few eggs before you can make an omelette. I've got the bedroom, I've got the studio, I've got a to-do list, and then I have plan, things I've got to do, I've got to get going. Because I've been poorly for about 3 months, so art in the Abbey's kind of gone out the window. And I was poorly, so scribbly pit. I was on the sofa with feet up, and I went to grab three or four packs of file paper, and I went straight to them. And that was so lovely to do that, because normally in my house, I know I've got tons of stuff, but I can never find it. So all my paper is in a big bookcase. So all the paper's in the first 2 top shelves. And I did the shelves to adjust. So every scrap of a space is used. So I've got the paper at the top, then I've got card at the bottom. I've got files at the bottom of that. The next bookcase, and I say I will do part of that in the channel. I've got my small notebooks, I've got my medium-sized notebooks, and I've got my big notebooks, and that's all lined notebooks. And then I have papers, loose file papers, and I've got A5s and A4s, and I managed to get these and pick 3 out. I picked 3 or 4, and then I sat on the sofa, and Alfie was with me, bless him. I was on my own because hubby went away for the weekend. My daughter was working, so she wasn't with me, and I was really quite poorly, so I couldn't even make a drink of tea, but I did have some water, and I concentrated on this, and it didn't think the fact, well, I haven't had any breakfast or I haven't had any lunch kind of thing. And then I decided on this particular one. Didn't have to do any hole punching. There were a few Filofax pages in here. There weren't many. I paid £1 for this particular file at a car boot sale probably 10-15 years ago. I've got about 5 of them, but don't know where the other ones are. Probably outside in the caravan. So we've got an expense one. So these are quite old. These doesn't give the date. Oh, 2005. There you go. So it wasn't. No, it's more than 10 years ago. There's a nice to-do list, and I might be quite naughty and photocopy that because it is quite a nice big to-do list. But what I've got in each one is, and then when I was feeling a little bit better, I went through and I counted, because when I was really poorly, I couldn't count. So I counted 10 of the squares, 10 of the line, the narrow lined, and 10 of the graph. So I thought, well, if I want to draw a picture and trying to work on working out where I want to put furniture, if you've seen my Midori, there's lots of little scribbles and there's a cross because it didn't work. And so I kind of do that. And that's would be kind of like the rough working out. So I've done 10 sheets of each for each channel. And then I realized that I've actually got 7 channels because Alfie has his own Alfie's World. So I'm going to find another binder this size, and that will have Alfie's in. But what that will have is the different pets, because we've got quite a few pets. We've got the bunnies, we've got the cats, we've got our own cats, we've got the Irish PCA cats, which are the Foster's cats. And so I thought Alfie's channel will have all about the fur babies. And that kind of will be better because people that watch this channel and this show think, oh, don't like cats, don't like dogs, don't want to know, go away. Other people love to watch about Alfie and his fur babies, his friends. And so I decided that I would split things up a bit. So this channel will be colouring in. And then I'll have an art channel, which is professional art. And I'm going to sketch Alfie, draw Alfie, and then I'm going to do a commission. But it's free. I'm going to do it because I've not done one for a long time. So I'm just going to draw a little dog for her. Might have to paint. We'll see. But I've decided that even though my hands are bad, I'm going to buy, because I didn't get a birthday present. Nigel's in the doghouse. So I'm going to buy I've talked myself out of it 6 times and I've talked myself back into it. And I've decided, even though I'm poorly and I might not be able to use them, what I'm going to do is buy the Derwent Lightfast, because Amy's going to be an illustrator. So she can use them if anything happens to me. So, and I wanted to buy them 2 days ago, and I was again, I'm not very well, and it was 4 minutes past midnight, and it said buy the next day. And I would have had them yesterday for today's show, but I'll have them for next week. So that will be on another channel. So that's more like art. And if I did that on this channel, it might, again, people want to know about colouring. So I want to try and keep them separate if I can. So this going back to this plan, this is how to do. If you have a lot of things to do and you've got a memory like a sieve, like I have, or you don't know where to start, I made, and this lady didn't do it. I've done it for 5 days. She did it for 4 days in advance, because then it was a clear plan. But hers was her homework. So she had to have certain academic papers written and in by a certain essays in at a certain time. So this is obviously flexible. If I wake up and I'm ill, then obviously it goes out the window. But what I have done is I put the lounge and I move the desk 30 minutes. Now it's not going to take 30 minutes, but I give myself a time. And then I break this down to days. I've done that before. And if I've got a big task like moving the books, I write down and I time myself. But I always give myself extra, and then I give myself a 15-minute tea break. And I give this is what I used to do, and an hour for lunch and another tea break, and then I had to stop to cook tea. And then if I had the energy after tea, with help from whoever was home, and that I found that really good. And I move the desk 30 minutes, mend the radiator. I've put an hour, but I didn't do that because I was poorly. Sort the DVDs. I put 3 hours. It actually took me all day. And I'll show how I did that in my disabled organized one. I was really poorly. I did this, but I didn't put them in. I just put a few in each one and shut it because I couldn't concentrate. But I did this list, and then the next day I was still poorly. So the next day I sat and I think I watched a couple of films, and I sorted the DVDs out all in alphabetical order. So it didn't take 3 hours. It took me all day, but it's a huge box with hundreds. And then it's to sort DVD videos, because I have my videos and I have a video machine, and I still like my videos. So I've got all cookery ones and gardening ones. So I want to keep those, but they have to go in a separate place, because obviously they don't want to be in the lounge, even though we have the same video machine from, I think it must be 30 years, 25, about 15, 16 years. We bought this video DVD combination, and we've still got it. So I want to keep those. Move figures. I put 30 minutes. I didn't wash them or clean them. I was too poorly. It took me 2 minutes because I'd put them in a different cabinet. So actually I'd got the nativity set in Ladro, and there's six pieces. There's Mary and the baby, in one piece. Then there's the three kings and Joseph. So there's 5 pieces. No, and there's a donkey and an ox. And so I moved those one piece at a time. So it didn't take me 30 minutes because I didn't clean them. I didn't dust them. They were in a cabinet. I just moved them across to another cabinet. But I put that all in yellow because that was going to be Saturday. Now, I did this on Friday. And what she has is you write them all in pencil. You write them all in pencil in where they are. So the kitchen was label the pantry, sort the door spice rack, organize the cupboards, which means take everything out, put them back in, and I'm moving things around and say to be easy. I put label pantry twice because I'm obviously not very well. Spice rack and pantry. Oh, I've written it. Why have I written it twice? Oh, I know why, because I did the purple, and the purple was too dark. So that's why I've written it. I wondered why. I thought I was losing my marbles. And I am losing the marbles, but not that. So then I put clean cupboard, which means take everything out the cupboards and clean them and put things where I want them easy. And that came to Lazy Susan's. So when I was at Boys the other day, I bought 2 packs of marbles. Now, obviously, I'm going to take the big one out. There's 2 big ones in there. And I'm going to make a Lazy Susan. But again, it's going to be noisy. And I've already actually put it up there to turn around. But you get 2 tinned baking trays and marbles, and you put marbles in one tray and you sit the other tray on top, and it spins round, and they're a little bit like ball bearings, but they're bigger and they're cheaper. So I'll make a video on that, and it's how to make a cheap Lazy Susan. Well, some of my tins have got a bit they're not rusty, but I don't use them anymore because we've got the silicone baking pans now. So 2 of mine, and I think it's about that big. So it's quite a big Lazy Susan. It fits perfectly in one of my little cupboards. So I've got a Lazy Susan. So instead of having to lift the baskets out, which I have, it's quite heavy. I can't do that. I've got a Lazy Susan. So then I had bedroom, sort the clothes. I've got half the clothes sorted, but until hubby gets all the paperwork out of 5 drawers, I need those drawers. Clean drawers, sort the wardrobe out. I'm going through my clothes and I'm going to get rid of at least half of what's in there. Move the papers because there's everything everywhere. And they're going in. I bought my husband a filing cabinet, but it's a single one. And I'm going to do those in order because everything's just, I look at it and it's just, so that's going to be sorted. The studio was clear, the art desk, because with moving everything that when I said to the guys, I'll put that, just the girls rather, and Nigel, just put that on the big desk, Well, the big desk is now piled high with papers and artwork and bits and bobs. And that's the huge desk that's out in the studio. That's not my, the desk I have here is the IKEA desk. So this desk again is for colouring in and for making YouTube videos, but I will be making YouTube videos in the studio with my professional art desk, and that's going to be artwork, traditional art rather. I put sort books because again the books just got thrown in. So I wrote all these things in paper. I also wrote to-do list, glue gun for the Abbey. There's a couple of things when they've done something, the glue's gone, so spray the lanterns. We've got some lanterns that won't sell, so I'm going to put a Christmassy thing. And I put make Christmas cards for the Abbey. Do the washing because I was trying to do the washing. I want to see if I can start doing the washing again. So, but I didn't do anything because I was poorly. And then I put plan. So that's why I needed the planner, is to plan art in the Abbey, plan out for therapy, draw. Laugh, haven't drawn for months. Plan the colour books, plan and draw windows. That's the windows in the Abbey. And then, so that's my initial scribble. And then what you do is you think what has to be done first. So you pick a highlighter. And I actually picked, oh gosh, put these in here, can't get them out, green. So green was for Friday. Then you write. Now this lady only did 3, and I decided that I was going to do 5. Don't know why, but I did. Sorry, Alfie's here. So on the Friday night, I thought, what can I do? And I did the initial scribble on Friday night, and I was so poorly. I didn't do anything. I thought, I haven't the energy to do anything Friday night because I was at the Abbey. And that's what I thought. I was poorly because I felt lousy. I was really ill on Friday. But when I got home, I realised that it was this head thing. It's come back, this blood pressure thing, this bad head. It's come back and it's getting worse every single day, but we're not going to go there. So Friday, I did the initial writing of what had to be done, but the Friday was out. So Saturday, I'm going to go back. I'm going to feel better tomorrow. So Saturday was yellow. So I thought, and I'm on my own. And yeah, I did write these down. Move desk, mend radiator, move figures, clear the art desk, sort the drawings, because I got some art drawings for the colour book, and sort and label the cupboards. Because again, I thought that's a little job I could sit and do. And I thought I could put the washing on, then sit down for an hour and then put the timer on. And then again, I go back. But if they haven't put things, they put socks inside out and it's not sorted, it's too much for me. I can't sit and sort it and then do it as well. And then we're having this big argument that if they put things where I tell them to, I can actually pick one lot up, put it on, and then it's done. But I can't sort the washing because it's just too much. By the time I've sorted the washing, I can't do anything with the hands. So again, this is going to be in the disabled bit that, in order for me to feel better and to take the pressure off everybody for doing absolutely everything, if they did certain things in the house, I could put the washing on. I can put, I've got a little cup, so I don't have to lift the big thing. I've got my washing powder into my washing comfort, and I put it, the comfort, when I get a big one, I decant it, and I get 4 out of 1. So I get 4 bottles out of 1 bottle. And I still get the lovely smell, and there's a cheap Yorkshire Lass, it goes further. And I don't have to lift the big bottle. And again, that's going to be on my disabled channel, how I do that and why I do it. And again, I've advised that if I had to lift this huge thing of washing up liquid, washing powder, put it in, then I'd have the huge thing of the comfort, putting that in. I've devised a way that it's just like lifting a cup. Well, it's not actually as heavy as lifting a cup. And if the washing is right in front, it's a case of scooping it up and pushing it in. But again, one thing I can't do is go, well, that's a white, that's hubby's, that's mine, that's Samantha's. And this is what I get cross about, because I can't do the washing because they haven't put it in order. So although it says do the washing, it means picking a pile up and putting it on. And then, of course, it takes it out of me doing that. So I can sit down for an hour, because it takes an hour-ish. And then I can go back in an hour because I've rested for an hour. And again, this is to get me to do a bit more, because just sitting on the sofa is not good for you. And of course, if I can do that once a day, the washing never gets piled high, because hubby says, oh, it takes me 6 days to do the washing and 16 hours to do the ironing, and we won't even go there. So that's why I was doing it that way. So again, on the Saturday, I thought, well, I can put a load of washing on. But of course, so I didn't, but I knew I couldn't do anything else. I knew that was going to take a lot of effort. So then on the Sunday, I'd be on my own, and I've put sort clothes. I've got a few bits and pieces to put away, clear the drawers. Now I asked hubby to do that. But I thought, well, if I could get some carrier bags or bags, I could put what's in a drawer, tip it out, and he'd be cross. But everything in that drawer would be in that box or in that bag. So it's up to him to sort it. But it meant that I'd got the drawer to put, I've got half a dozen nighties and I've nowhere to put them. So I could put my nighties in the drawer. And what I've done is I've folded lots of clothes. I watch Alejandra from America, Alejandra TV, and she is, if you type in on YouTube, the most organized house in America, you'll find her. And so to make my life easier, I'm using her system for folding the next, and hubby does it now. Yay! Little dividers in my drawer. Because again, one thing I can't do is go in a drawer and pick lots of things up. So he folds my nicks up and they're all in order, and he folds my socks up and they're all in order. So I can look and go, well, yes, okay, well, I've got white trousers on, I don't want black nicks. Because the black knickers would always be on the top. So he folds them and they're in little neat squares of knickers. So So I'm going to do a video about that. But yeah, it's just, and it's, again, it makes life easier. I can do that. Oh, yes, there is a donkey, but he's lost his ear. Again, it's second hand. The pieces are all there for me to glue, but my hands won't hold anything. And he'd lost an ear. So I paid £80 for this. I think if you want it, it's about 800. But it is a lovely set. But again, I'll do, when I mend them, I'm going to ask Samantha, because she's got to hold the pieces. And I need some proper China glue. So I haven't attempted them. I've had them over a year and I haven't attempted them. One of the kings has lost his hand. And what I was really cross about is one of the kings was perfect. And when the husband wrapped them, he wrapped all of them in treble bubble wrap, apart from the king that had his hand out. He was pointing at the baby. Oh, he had his hand out. He's had his finger out. For some reason, he had his hand out. And he put him at the bottom, and where he'd wrapped, there was no bubble wrap. And when he put him in, it snapped all his fingers off. And I thought, the only one that was perfect. But I didn't, she was such a lovely lady, I didn't have the heart to tell her. So I need to glue one of the king's fingers on, and the other king's got a box in his hand, a gold box. That's broken off. His hand is all right. The donkey's ear, and but the Madonna, the Madonna, no, God, jeez, Mary and the baby, she's sitting, and there's a crib, and it's a smaller piece, and it's all kind of rounded. There's no sticky outy bits. They're not broken. So, and the ox isn't broken either. Told you, I have to buy everything broken, unfortunately. So, but when I positioned them at Christmas, everyone went wild because you can't tell they're broken. Because the king I just put his hand at the back, so you couldn't see that his hand was broken. And that's moving the figures. That's what that was there, moving five or six figures. That was moving them because they were in the kitchen cabinet, which they didn't want to be in. But because we moved the cabinet, and again, I've moved things. So because I can't do a lot in the studio, it was pointless having a lovely room that only I could use, and it was messy. So what we decided was I would have the big desk, and I've put my art books in there because they're not precious, and I have a corner, but then I've just bought a table, and it was £20, and it's barley sugared legs. It's a solid oak table. I didn't lift it in, hubby and the lady lifted it in, and so that's going to be in there as well, so we can have it as a nice dining room, because my dining room at the moment has got 6 bunnies in it, and it's like a stable, but we won't go there. We don't go there because I don't go in that room. But it has bunnies running around because she thinks it's cruel to have them in cages. But again, we're not going to go there. That's under the fur babies, Alfie's fur babies. Is the bunnies here? It's like the Ritz, honestly, the Ritz for bunnies. So we decided that room would be a nice room. Thank you, Alfie. I will get round to some art in a minute, guys. Sorry. So we decided that room would be nice to have as a dining room, and a nice room to sit and watch the birds and be sunny. So I moved a cabinet that I had in the lounge with the Ladro in it, and I also have what do we call it? Oh, sorry, guys. You have a mouthful of coffee. A Welsh dresser, a huge Welsh dresser, and it has all the things in for the dining room. Well, of course, the dining room is a bunny room now. It's over there somewhere. And so I decided that I would bring my mum's nice desk down from the bedroom, because when the paramedics came, I have 2 huge antique pieces of furniture. And they, oh, it's all cluttered in here. How do you live in here? And they're all, I went, go away. I've got a headache. I don't want you judging me. So I decided, but I hid them in the bedroom because they were worth a lot of money. But now, brown furniture, as it was called, Victorian oak bureaus, are now not worth a lot of money. So I've decided to bring them downstairs. And I want the big drawers for my my sewing boxes, because they're everywhere and my daughter's going mad. So I thought, if I put them all in one row, if I feel like I want to do embroidery, I can get them out. If not, they're hidden. And it's a huge oak bureau, and that's what I lifted an empty drawer and it bit me. So the white cabinet that had china in it, I used in the the studio, and I've put all the nice crystal in there, and the things in there that the drawer at the bottom will have the tablecloth, and the nice glasses for when we entertain, because I did actually entertain. It was a bit of a disaster. Won't go there, but hey ho. But it's nice just to have friends around, and so we decided that's what we're going to do with the studio. It's not practical. It's too hot in summer, too cold in winter. So we're not going to do that. So that's why every room is tipped upside down, and it's a tip. So, but as the rooms are being sorted and everything's going to be labeled in an order, because obviously hubby doesn't know where I want everything, that will be in one of the YouTube channels as a video. So again, then we came to Monday. Well, Monday, I know I've got the cats in the morning. So I don't know how long we're going to be. Some days she doesn't have any cats. Some days she's got 17 kittens. So again, that's another thing I need to do. Is Monday is kind of a funny day. So I don't actually think I put anything down for Monday. Tuesday, I'm at the Abbey. And again, I'm poorly, so I don't fancy doing anything. And then I put Wednesday down as pink. But because the purple was Sunday and I couldn't read it, I made the pink the Sunday. But actually, all I managed to do, which was, again, you can't beat yourself up about it, on the Sunday and the Saturday, all I did was sit on the sofa and watch TV. But I did sort the DVDs. So again, I'll go through that. We have hundreds because we've got all the children's ones. And my daughter says, "Oh, get rid of those." I went, "No, I like watching them. Go away." So they're all in alphabetical order. So as I pick them up, I'm table next to me at the glass table, and I put A, B, C's, D's, E, F, G's, and all that. And then my husband has lots of music videos, so they're not in order. So I had them in order. But they're all everywhere again. So they go in bands and solo artists in alphabetical order, so you can find them. So I have a pile of his. Every time I found a DVD or a CD, I put that in one pile. Then I have CDs. I have my Spanish CDs because I was learning Spanish, and I have my art DVDs and my garden DVDs. So I kept them aside. Yes, DVDs. So on the DVD is a silver box. I think it was £20, 19.99 from Maplin's. And it basically, you open it up and it has these really horrible but miniature size kind of filing, little like the files you get in a filing cabinet. But these are Didi, and you put two DVDs in each one. So that's what I spent. And it took me 2 days to do that. But I had to feel good. I was really, really poorly. I was on my own. I watched a video. I kept myself occupied, and I did a big job. So this all went out the window. But if hubby had been home and my daughter came home, she actually then moved the desk. So actually, they did actually do that on the Saturday. She came home on the Sunday night. So those jobs some of them have been done. But again, you can't beat yourself up. So what I'm going to do now is I'll rewrite that in pencil, and I'll cross out the things obviously that I've done, and then I'll rewrite it, and then I'll replan for the next. So we've got Tuesday, Wednesday. We've got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. But I'll be a bit more realistic. But of course, hubby's at home, so we can get most of those things done. So sorry, guys, that was a bit of long-winded, but this is how I'm trying to work, because I'll start a job and I'll ask hubby to do it, and then I'll forget what I asked him, because I'm really losing my marbles. So there might not be all these channels, or there'll be a lot of edited videos, put it that way. But of course, now I've got hubby home, I have a cameraman. So again, watch this space. So I decided that this was going to stay downstairs. This will not be going upstairs. This is a downstairs, scruffy, rough ideas book. But it's a to-do list, really. I mean, and it's huge and it's heavy. but it's a nice expanse to write because I'm really scruffy, and it's I may not like it, but this is what I'm going to try. But then I've got my personal Midori for hospital appointments, going this way, going out, not very going out much, but I think we've got the pantomime in January, so I'll put that in there. We go every year. Trying to build a bit more social life now. Hubby's not working and we're not doing the model railway shows. We have 2 to do. Well, I'm going to do 1. I'm not doing them anymore. I have to stay at home. We're going to Ireland in a couple of months. We're going to Dublin. So I wasn't going to go because I felt really poorly. But watch this space. I'm going to try and go because it's lovely to see all the guys. So that's going to be just when I've got this bit done here and the house is all sorted. This will be just YouTube channels. It won't be to do that list there will be transferred to here. So as soon as everything's done, this will be used for household things, to-do lists and things like that. There's no point making a shopping list in here. I may as well make it in my little one because I've always got it with me. Because if I make a shopping list in here, obviously this is staying at home and I'm in the shop. So the other thing I'm going to try and do again, and that will come into the disabled Bunny's Disabled Designs, will be shopping online. Now, I don't like doing all my shopping online for the supermarkets because I've only done it once, and if you get a salad or vegetables, you get the crinkled manky ones. So I'm never happy with that. Now, whether they've changed or not because it's a few years ago, I don't know. But for tins and packets and pantry stuff, I will be, because it's better for hubby as well, I will probably shop online with either Sainsbury's or I kind of like Sainsbury's, but I love Asda. We haven't got one near. But I do like Morrison's. I have to say I do like Morrison's. I'm a bit of a Morrison's girl because when I was 21, I was married and we lived in Horsforth in Leeds, near Leeds, and loved Morrison's. So I haven't quite decided, but one of the supermarkets I will be shopping online. And again, that would be in there. And then we have a veg shop, a farm food, not a farm food, a farm shop. And I think I want to start using that more. And then in the next village, the other way, little market town of in Howden, there is a beautiful cheese shop. There's a beautiful old ruined church as well. There's a gorgeous cheese shop. There's a wonderful veg shop, flower shop. And there's an old-fashioned ironmongers as well, what we would class as ironmongers. So paintbrushes, brooms, mops, things like that, screws, glue. I think you can still order wallpaper there. So that's I might want to go back to the old-fashioned way of shopping, whereas every day, the monthly pastas, rice, tins, sugar, even probably bread. Although there is a nice bread shop there as well, actually. I think we're going to go back to old-fashioned shopping. But for the everyday heavy stuff, I forgot what you call it, but pantry goods, they will come from an online shop. But I think I'm going to go back to maybe once a week, getting hubby to take us and we'll go have a coffee because we don't have a social life. We don't go out. So I think maybe once a week, if we go there, we can get some veg and some salad things from our local guy in the village. I tell a lie. We have a beautiful bakery in the village. So just shoot me now. Oh gosh. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nine bongs. 9 bongs. It's 2 hours out. Are we on 11 o'clock, guys? I can't see the clock. Yeah, 11 o'clock. I got 9 bongs. So even my clock is dyslexic. I wonder if it's because it needs winding up. Oh my goodness. Sorry, guys. Can't compose myself. Everything in my house is bleh. Sorry, it just tickles me that I have a lovely clock, beautiful chimes. So it's a bit like Big Ben. One of the films it's a Bond movie. They got it to chime 13 times. Yeah, so I've stolen Big Ben, but he's not well. Right, so if I show that. So this is my planning system. This is my YouTube channels. This is planning everything else once everything's sorted. And this is my everyday ideas. It's always with me. Shopping lists, to-do lists, daily things, probably more personal things and house things. So these two might overlap, but this is just for YouTube. But of course, all these things here, once everything's sorted, it'll be. But I wanted to practice this. I've not done this system for a while. I did it when I was at uni. I'll try and fish out as well, obviously, because I need to give this girl a shout out. Both Alejandra and the young lady that was doing a pharmacy. She was doing a pharmacy university course, and this is a system that she used, and I've just kind of used it for remembering things, because again, you can, but I do put a time. I don't think she put a time on hers. I give myself 3 times the time to do it, and I even did this when I was well, because I always know the phone rings, the dog wants to go out, there's always something. So I always tried to give myself, and then sometimes I'd probably end up doing, when I was well, an extra few things from another day. I did one day, I did 2 lots of chores in one day. And I was ahead of myself, which, if anybody knows when you're doing big things, is most unlikely. So that's going to be there. And these actually fit in this pocket. So we do have some pockets here. So this is an original Filofax. Not sure if they make it. It's called Identity. And it was funny, but because when I was really poor, I had the Identity A5 Filofax, and it was my favorite because it had pockets everywhere. It had 2 huge pen loops, and I'd forgotten about that, but I recognized the name. But I don't know where I've put that one. It's not leather though. It's plastic. It's definitely not leather. It's really stiff as well, so I couldn't use it as I use other ones. But the reason I wanted to use it is because of the binder clips. And I knew nobody was going to be home all weekend. So don't have to, if you use the ordinary file folder inserts. I'm sorry if I'm saying the wrong words for those. And again, that's really scruffy. This will be neater because I write neater in squares. It's just I was poorly and I wanted to try and just get some things down and see try to remember how, because I didn't watch the video again. So this is how I've kind of interpreted it. And I say, I do put time limit on. So if it was a huge, big thing, I'd actually probably then do a daily task of all these chores that are in pink. What order do I want to do them? Do I want my kitchen sorted first, or do I want the bedroom sorted first? But again, I'll go through that in the organisation, Bunny's Disabled Designs, because that is important when you're not well. So I'll be doing it as now rather than as you know, I could probably do all those tasks in one day and be working till after midnight because I wanted to get them done. I've got to be more realistic now. So, and the other thing is I've got thousands of pens here when I do the tour. I don't know whether I'm going to keep them like this. Well, I say thousands of pens. There's quite a few pens. And my white pens, I never use a white pen. I don't know why I've got them. So again, that's a watch my space. But of course, I found a drawer with about 30 highlighters. So I thought, I know, I'll use that old system. Because I did use it when I was at uni. So sorry it's long-winded. That is, oh, for goodness sake, Alf. That's the YouTube channels. And I will actually have to sort out another file, but might not be that big. Watch this space for Alfie's channel, because I'm going to keep that one separate. And that'll be all the fur babies and what dog we rescue and all that. Now, one thing I do want to do, and it means getting the pen out of there. If I did put it in there. Oh, no, I didn't. I've lost my lovely new. I will give one quick tip. Anybody that's got pulley hands or anybody that has lots of things in the handbag, get rounded handles. Because when you buy handles that are kind of usual square, they dig into both that joint and that joint. And rounded handles don't. So you can pick them up. If you were picking up, I haven't got one handy. Probably they would dig into that joint and that joint. And I can't grasp a handbag, so I don't have hold of a handbag properly. But what I found over the last few years, since my hands started with poly, is I'm drawn, and I never knew why I was drawn to certain handbags. And my favourite other handbags, I can't stand to I never use, and I couldn't understand why. And I've realised, and also zips. I'm a bit of a zip snob. I love metal zips. And that was one of the things. Rounded handles. And I've gone off grab bags because I can't put anything on my shoulder. But of course, I don't go anywhere now. So without the wheelchair, so I can use however big a handbag I want now. And I did yesterday. My handbag was on my wheelchair. And when I wasn't being pushed, I puddled around a little bit. I looked totally ridiculous pushing a wheelchair, limping, but hey ho. But it made that I could actually walk a little bit, which is quite good for you. Because I really hate that wheelchair. It's so uncomfortable. They are supposed to be sending me another one. Watch this space. So that quick tip, rounded handles, soft, even if it's fake. Now they do fake handles or material bags, anything that's soft, because it's a lot nicer to use when you have poorly hands. And when I looked this sign up, I thought this was leather, but I couldn't make my mind up. Again, it was £15. I think it's made by Radley. It is soft leather, and it's just a lovely handbag. I wouldn't have paid the proper price for it. I like nice handbags, but I normally buy them from, and I didn't know that, but this charity shop, if you go to a designer charity shop, which we have in the UK, some are designer ones, I don't know, you find the leather handbags. And again, what I was looking for was the gusset to make another Midori, a fake Midori. So that's why I hunt around leather handbags, but occasionally I fall in love with them. And I mean, they're lovely if I cut it open and used it, because of course it's soft, and I could use it as a fake Midori and put 2 holes in here and use it as a fake Midori, and I would have a zip pocket, and this would be the inside, and I just sew the string through like you do an ordinary Midori, and because I've taken the sides out, I've got handles on a book, and I've made quite a few like that. So that's why I actually was rooting around for a handbag, a satchel or something that's really old. Now this is stiff leather, but it's not to carry around, it's to use as a Midori. So that's where I find the leather from. Sometimes if you go to junk shops or the tip, you can find old leather sofas. I know some of the guys that make leather books, they make sketchbooks. They go buy an old leather sofa and they cut all the leather off it. And you get the creased bits that are gorgeous and soft, and you get the hard bits that don't move at all. So there's always some ways you can find leather rather than actually buying it new. And there's something about battered, I think I dropped that and scratched it, but actually I love it because it actually feels like a Midori because it's just bashed. And I used to carry this around an awful lot when I used to go to model shows, because again, when you open that up, it's a big expanse for a sketch. That's a sketch one, that one. Sketchbook. You see, I did try to use stickers, but I'm blooming useless. I think I did 2 pages and then gave up and thought, no, I don't want to do that. It's not me. Oh, actually, oh yes, look at that. That's an old one because that's one that's stitched. So you go in, you leave the thread, you go in, come out, go in, and when you come out, you tie a knot, and that's the easiest to make. And that is stitched, that one. The other ones are not stitched because I used to realize that they wouldn't go anywhere anyway, so I didn't need to stitch it. But if you want to stitch it, and again, if you look at the edges on here, look, they're rounded and they look so much nicer than the horrible ones there. But again, using a hole punch, a corner punch. Again, I've got 3 corner punches. Do I get rid of those? So sorry about that, guys. A bit of a waffle about getting organised, but it's part of me. And again, one thing I am going to do, and I may as well do it in here. I don't know what day we're on, but I'm going to put Thursdays. Oops. Show, and we are now at 1. I don't know. Length to go today, wouldn't it? Sorry, right. 1:48 mins. Planners. Right. And now I shall talk about my watercolor book, because I realized again it's so frustrating that I got that would go under there. Yeah. No, it sticks out a little bit, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah. The lead's gone on that one. In the description, a time, because I did about 9.5 hours, I think, last week. Did I do 9.5 hours? I did 9 while 7, I think, 7:30. So it was a long time. And you do not want to sit through that. So apologies for all the waffle. This is another little thing to have if your hands aren't very well. Now, I've seen it in Wilko's for about $3.99. I've seen it in other shops for cheaper. Sorry, more expensive. It's a pen, a biro, but it actually holds quite nice. And it's got a little tip on it. So the biro comes out. But sometimes when you're on your phone, you're doing this, it can hurt that knuckle. But holding this, you can just, oh, you can do that. And it's a touch pen. So if you've got any questions, pop them in caps, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Is there anybody? Hi, Marilyn. Welcome to Bunny's Designs. Anybody else I've missed? Right. So they're my 3 pencils that I will be keeping. So this one is to write and draw with. This is to draw with, and this one is to use the phone. Right. I'm going to have a look at this because I've been using and I can't find them. I wanted to find them. I must have put them somewhere. I want to revamp this because I don't really like this horrible plastic. I really don't like it. And I made this, I think it was quite a while ago now. I bought it, and it's, again, the plastic. I thought it would be beautiful, fantastic. Get these huge, full-sized, peerless strips of colour. Absolutely fantastic. But I didn't stick them in because I wasn't sure, and I'm really pleased I didn't, because I just do not like that. I want to put them in this vintage one. So what I might do is do this first, and then I'll use them. Now they are in colour order, I think. There should be some. Let's see, I've lost them out. I don't know where all the yellows are. Did I start from that end? Let's have a look. So I broke all this down because we should put 2 photographs in here. So I broke them down, and then I made the piece out of photocopy printer paper. So it's a full sheet of printer paper, which is 8.5 by 11.75, 8 3/4, 11.5, and I fold it in half. So we call that a 5. That's a 4. That's a 5. And I did that for every single one to make as many pages as possible. But I really just do not like it. I don't know why it's in backwards. So in this particular set, if anybody's seen these Nicholson's Peerless watercolours, they're in my little book. And these squares have been in here for 5 years. And they've done really well. There's only 2 that I've replaced. But I've decided that I really like these. So I'm going to put them in this vintage little book that I got at the model show for £1. I bought 4. I think I've got 1 or 2 of these. And I love them because the plastic is so nice compared to this. I can't show you now, guys. This really nasty plastic. This is really nice. And I do sometimes use these as palettes. So this plastic would be a palette. And this doesn't really feel that it wants to be a palette. Now, the only difference is I did buy, I just lost it. I did buy, there's the bonus pack in here. And there's the hair colour. So I've got the traditional book. Bear with me 2 seconds. Have a look. When you buy the book, it comes like this. And each of those are in here. So we've got the Peerless Complete Edition. Then you've got the bonus pack. Now, the first one I got, I didn't have it labelled, so you must keep them in order, because when you see this, it could be anything. And this time, I bought the hair colour. But by doing that, it boosted it over £60, and I had a £30 levy to pay, which broke my heart. Because if I'd have known that, I wouldn't have got the hair colours. Oh, sorry, if I'd have known that, I would have bought the pinks as well. I didn't buy the pinks. There is a set of pinks that are not included in here. Some are, but there are some pinks in there that are not in this set. So I have the original set, the bonus pack, and the hair colour. Because there weren't many browns in this one, so there's a lot of browns and a couple of reds in there. And that's what I have in here. And I did buy them. They're a bit cheaper if they're not stamped. But again, if you buy them not stamped, you must put them in order. And again, because I've put them that way, look, the colours come off, so they should be that way, really. Yeah, they've all moved. So I need to do something about them. So I can't understand, because that's the beginning of the book. I don't know why. It should be yellows, should be first. Oh no, they're blonde. You see, that's why they're there. And they really need to be there because the colour's coming off. So we've got greens and blues. It should be reds and purples. And then we should have yellows. Ah, they're the yellows. No, I may have to do this a different time, guys, because they're all over the place. I don't know why. Get those out. Now I have stuck. Oh my, look at this. These should be in there as well, look, honestly. I think this is what I did, is I put those in to show where I was going to put them. And obviously some of them I didn't put back into the original ones. So what I need to do is, because these are a bit tall, I need to cut them. So there's yellow ochre and amber yellow. Must keep them like that because they do not like. Let me just find my first ones. And the other reason is I want to make sure that if I want a different set, I don't have to pick this up. I can pick this up and know this is Peerless. So the first one I've got is Yellow Daffodil. Yellow Daffodil. And the next one is Marigold. Yes, so those two, they go like that. So what I need to do is use that book as a reference, and then I'm going to put 2 on there. Oh no, why won't they go? I thought they would go. That's interesting, because when I showed them, I was going to cut just the end off. I don't think I've got enough. I'll have to rethink that, guys. Nope, that's not going to work. Oh, gosh. Daffodil. Marigold was the first one. Yeah, I'll have to rethink that. I don't know why I thought, unless I put... I mean, each page I get 2 out of, so I could put 2 in the middle. Might have to do that. Right, I'll make a video of that because I can edit a lot of junk out of it. So, yeah, watch this space. So I'm going to revamp. I'm going to revamp the Peerless. They should be in there, really. So let's find where they should go. I cannot believe. It's So really they need to go on there. And I use a little bit of double-sided tape, but I can't believe yellow amber and yellow ochre want to be there. And then we can put the 3 browns on there. It's only temp because I think it's 4 browns. Mahogany, burnt umber, warm sepia, and brown. But of course, I've now got the hair colours, and I probably won't put the hair colours at the back. And then I've got 2 blacks, and there is a couple in the hair one, I'm sure. Yes, I need to do that, really, don't I, to sort that out. That was a bit disappointing, that. So last week I did the pumpkin. Has anybody got any requests, guys? Last week I did the pumpkin. Let me just, I have to just wash my hands because I've got picking that up. It doesn't work. So we've got because I really can't remember a thing, guys. Apologies, but I just can't. Last week we did the pumpkin. So that was the pumpkin. And I did that one. I think I used Peerless. So what shall we use this time? I'll do another pumpkin. I think I could do it in Neos and scratch a bit of colour. I think that's what I'll do. But just bear with me, guys. I'm just going to go wash my hand. Just wipe my hands. I think I'm going to use the big box of colours that I have. Sorry, but oh, Alfie's outside. I think I'm pretty sure I used the Peerless on that one. Oh no, I know what I'm going to do. If you don't mind, guys. Oops. Oh, I feel the need to use a paintbrush today. So, I think I might use these. Oops, I need to rethink this, I think. I do need to rethink these pens. Because I love them, but I just can't have them. I think what I should do is actually put them in the clip. Yeah, if I clip them in, they wouldn't move. Sorry about Big Ben. Alfie's chucking his weight about as per usual. He is. Bless his little socks. Oh, these don't come out, do they? No, they don't come out. Oh, right. So, oh, that's what I do. Honestly, I couldn't remember what I did. That's what I do. I put that behind there and I put it down the middle, and then I use them like this. I wondered what I did. There we go. And then I just use them next to me. And I use them on a plate. So have you got any question, guys? Thanks for stopping by. Hope everybody's all right. If you've got any questions, put them in caps. Yeah, there's a nice, that cad orange. There's a lovely cad orange. Pale cad red. So I think I kind of like that. The other thing I could use is the Winsor Newton set, but I like these. So I could get, well, we could do them different colours, of course, couldn't we? We don't have to stick. We don't have to stick to that. These would be quite yellow, but there is an ochre yellow there. I just feel I want to do different colours. So I've used yellow, oranges, and that red is cad red. So we've got 4 different ones. I think that would look quite good. We've got 4 different orangey reds and an orange, and we have a sap green, hooker's green, and hooker's green dark. I think I like those, and I like indigo for a shadow. And then I've got a couple of these. Let's see. I think I may have to do a swatch color for these. Mind you, we could do a purple. We could do a purple pumpkin, but I think I'd quite like to do those. So I put those to one side. I just need to bob that somewhere because it seems to be in the way. Oopsie. Yes, we've got 2, 4, 6. Got some colours there. It's sometimes just easier to work out of there. But... oh, welcome back, Melody. So we'll put that one away, and we'll put this one away. So I think I'm going to work on this page next. I know that is the page, but I think I'm going to do this in these watercolors because I love the watercolors in this book. I think that's the one I used. Wasn't that one? I think. I don't know which one it was now. So I think I'm going to do this page next. So put that sticky there to remind me that's the page I'm going to do next. And just pop that there. Has anybody got any questions? Oopsie. So am I going to use my watercolor brush, or am I going to use my I've got three brush pots. Not quite there yet. These are my riggers. And then I put them in different sets. So this is the nice set that I quite like to use. So I tried to put them in some kind of order. So those were all the riggers from the Daler Rowney, and these are the liners and the half riggers. So I think I decided to put them like that. And then these are the Art Master Peel Series 11, because I kind of like that one. And these are all the tall, long, really long riggers. That one, that isn't a rigger there. That's the Series 101. I thought I had that in the other one. Oops. That one needs a bit of a wet because it's sprayed out a little bit. Again, what you have to do is to look at the size. Oh, sorry, guys, that was a bit silly. You need to look at the size of that you need. So I don't even think that one would be big enough for that. So they can go away. Nigel?
Yeah?
Sorry to bother you, darling. Could I have some water?
Yeah, what do you want?
Could I have that filled up to the...
Yeah, do you want another coffee?
Yes, please, darling. Thank you. So always when you're working, doesn't matter if you're in a colour book or you're doing pencil or pastel. Sorry, if you're doing watercolour, you need to look at the biggest and the smallest size of area that you're going to be using. So I love my smaller ones for watercolour effect, but they're not going to really do any good because my liners are not going to be big enough. I think that's probably the biggest space. The others you can break up into tiny areas, that's fine. But this is one of the biggest spaces, these two. So the rest of them would be lovely, but I will struggle with that. I suppose what I could do is do them as if they're cut out. Let's do that. Thank you, guys. Let me have a think, because I think what happened when I got to here, the one that was cut out changed. That's cut out, that's cut out, that's cut out. Yeah, that can't be cut out, because if it's cut out, there's a bit of a, not a mistake, but what was the outside becomes the inside. What was the inside becomes the outside. Just here, the rest of it works really well. So you could, because obviously if you've carved it, you've carved through it. Now I did the other one that this was the only carved. Just trying to think, purple might be quite nice on there. Burnt carmine, but I can make a burnt carmine, and I've forgotten how I do it. I think it was purple and purple, dioxidine purple and red. I think that made burnt carmine, so they might be quite nice to do burnt carmine. And use a lot of the orange with reds for the shadow areas. Now that might be good. Has anybody got any questions? Oh, hi Suzanne, welcome to Bunny's Designs. Nigel, outside. Nigel. Bless him, he can't hear me. Yeah, we've got a sap green and a hooker's green, so that could be quite nice for that. Hi, Suzanne. Trying to find the Elf Master. So I don't know if has anybody painted the pumpkin page. I suppose I could use the water brush. Yeah, because I'm going to be mixing colours, so that's not really going to work, is it? The one I wanted to find was the one with the professional watercolours. I don't know. Oh, hi, Alfie. You've been a good boy. Say hi to Auntie Susie and everybody. I'm going to be a good boy, Mummy. Yes, we know you are, Alfie. We know you're going to be a good boy. Is Alfie going to be a good boy? Not on your Auntie Nellie. Yes, is he a good boy? He's only a good boy today because he was barking outside. He's only a good boy today because hubby's home. So I've got my paintbrushes all to sort as well. I just have an urge to paint with these. So these are series 7 and they're not, oh, these are quite fluffy actually. I might not be able to, they don't go to a point, don't they? These were my 3, oh gosh. And I have several, they will eventually go to a point, I think. I have several packs of face wipes. And I think they're all upstairs. Because I've given up baby wipes. Sorry guys, I can't find what I'm looking for. I've given up my baby wipes and I keep my face wipes that I use every day, not the ones that I have if I've got heavy makeup on, but the ones that I haven't. And for the life of me, I can't find any. There's several packets upstairs, and what I have is when I use the L'Oreal. Is it L'Oreal? No, yes, it's the L'Oreal face wipes, ageless, and they have a really good clip on them. And I have an empty one, and then when I've used the face wipe, I put it in the empty one, and then obviously when that one's empty, I use another one. And for the life of me, I can't find them. I don't really want to get hubby to run upstairs, really.
What do you want? I'll go.
No, it's all right, Dennis.
No, it's okay.
I'm looking for a pack of baby face wipes that I've used, so they're dry, that I use for the art and I recycle.
Okay. I don't find any.
Well, then you won't find them. Just bear with me. I can tell you exactly where they are upstairs, but I don't really want you to run upstairs.
Right. What? Where?
Just give me a second. I should have them. Oh, it's all right. I'm going to use one of these, then. I'll be naughty and use one of these. Sorry, Big Ben's at it again. So what I've done is I bought a couple of these because they're small. And again, instead of having and they're ready damp, I would take these if I went out anyway. So, oh, they smell though. I can't do really with the smell of some of them, but that's fine. So this is just, it's not as good as a face wipe, I have to say, but it will do. And the idea is you wet the brush, you drag this backwards. I'm not getting a very good, for some reason, I am not getting That's better. Because they're pure sable, they have a mind of their own, bless them. Yes, Suzanne, he's still fretting, bless him. No, I don't have the patience to work with those. Sorry, guys. Oh, I just don't know what's wrong with me today. For goodness sake. I can't remember which paintbrushes I used, and I can't remember which paintbrushes I want to use, which is a bit silly, and I'm going to spill that coffee in a second. And none of my paintbrushes want to go to a point today. Yeah, looks like we're working with the Series 7 Sable. We may as well. So I've got number 5 and number 3. And I think that is a number 2. Yep. And these are the new ones that I bought in this box. And I bought them from Cassart. Oh, for goodness sake, you silly brush. I must admit, I don't think I've used these, so it's going to take a bit to get them to, there we go. Now it wants to go to a point, so that's what we want, points. And then the last one, they're very, very dry because I've never used them, you see. So, and I find that a 5-3 and a 2 is quite good. And then I've got a DD1 for any tiny bits. So, yeah, there we go. So we've got a 5-3 and a 2. Probably a bit too good to use on a colour book, but I'm in that mood today. I'm in that mood today. I want to use my nice things. Sometimes you really want to use your nice things, and I wouldn't use these with the Neos, I have to say, but I'm going to use those for these. So I've got my paintbrush. I'll zoom in again. Yes. I showed a picture of him earlier, and he's sitting there with his hands on his paws, looking very sad. You're very sad, Alf. He's coming to say hi. I've been good, Mummy. No, you haven't, Alfie. And he was so naughty last night. I was not last night. When I was poorly. Yes, that's right. When I was poorly, Hobie was bringing Amy back. Amy was catching the train, so my daughter was back at 5, and then she went out. My husband was back at 8:30, but he had to pick Amy up at 9 o'clock at the local train station because she was coming from Manchester, and he was coming back from Barrow-in-Furness. And I was home alone. And Alfie had been quite good. I hadn't fed him because I was so poorly. I couldn't feed any animals, so they didn't get the tea until she came home at 5:30. Well, they get fed at 5 normally, so it wasn't too bad. And I was still poorly, and I was still messing about trying to concentrate on alphabetical order. And believe me, I didn't know my alphabet. It was that bad. So, yeah, Alfie's in the big style in the doghouse because he did an unmentionable. And again, he didn't come into the room to sit with me. And when I got up, he was by the desk here, not in the lounge with me. And I thought that was a bit odd until I went into the kitchen to pick up the phone that was ringing. And you can guess what I stood in. So he's in the doghouse, big style. Because unfortunately, I couldn't do anything about it for an hour because I couldn't bend down because I got the headache. So he was a bit in the doghouse, Suzanne. He very nearly came post-free yesterday. Sunday. It was Monday morning. I'm going to post him to Suzanne post-free. Yeah, he's not nice. It's not funny, Suzanne. Don't lull me. That's not funny. To do an unmentionable was bad enough, but to do it and let me stand in it because it was right by the door was not funny. Where is he? Where's the rat bag? Yes, he did an unmentionable. Here he is, opening the door. Did you do the unmentionable? Did you? Alfie? You in the doghouse? He says, I'm not a doghouse, Mummy. He's got his Elvis quiff. He must have licked his lips and his lips stuck above his teeth, so his little teeth are just sticking out, his gums sticking up. He's got his Elvis lip. He's looking at me going, I don't do unmentionables on the kitchen floor, Mummy. Yeah. Yes, so he very nearly came over there. He very nearly came post-free. I have a big enough box to put him in if you're... Yes, he was in the doghouse. He was in the doghouse. And I had to have this conversation with this lady while having an unmentionable all over my feet. Yes. If we didn't love him, he'd be going to the dog pound. And then he looks at you with his little face. I didn't mean it, Mummy. But it's quite funny because he looks at you and goes, well, I didn't do that. Because he used to do that when the other two dogs were there. And sometimes you thought, well, it might not have been Alfie. It might have been one of the others. But, of course, the other two are dead now. They're not even here. So he looks at you and goes, was it me, Mummy? And you think, and I thought, oh, no, it might not have. And I said, hang on a minute. You're the only dog in town. In fact, he was the only one in the line for me and I didn't do it. But that's how he gets you. He really does play with your mind. What's he doing now? Yeah, I'm on the sofa, Mummy, looking cute. She says, I'm ready. Oh, Suzanne says she didn't know. Who would blame anybody? Anybody. It was anybody, but it wasn't him. We'll have some more Alfie quips, funny stories. And there's a lot of them on the channel. He's only got 2 subscribers. Poor Alfie. Doesn't deserve any. Yeah. He's sorry. Going off the track now. Right. Pumpkin. So here we have Phantomania. Just do this. And I apologize, guys. I have got a banging headache. I really have got a banging headache. And this is something that I can't do either because the mouse is broken. Oh no, I can't do that. Just give me 2 seconds.
Did you want anything from upstairs?
No, but I could do with a glass of water. So I'm going to have some painkillers. It's banging. Oh. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to do something and it's not really working. The brain's gone a bit gaga. Right, that should be sorted. hopefully. Oh, sorry, Susan. What did you put? What's AO suit YouTube? Oh, I don't get that, darling. Sorry. Apologies. My brain's fuddled. Sorry, guys. Really fuddled. Thank you, darling. Sorry about that. I've got just this awful head. I cannot believe it's come back. Let's see if I've got a pack of. Yeah. If I start singing and dancing and doing the fandango, you know it's the cocodamals, guys. I don't normally take them, but they do things to you. You start tripping. And I don't mean falling over. Oh dear. The one day I think I could be free of painkillers. Right, sorry about that, guys. Oh, my head is absolutely woohoo. Right, so I've got my beautiful Sable Series 7. But I think they were like half price from Cassart. They were like 30 some pounds. And if you look for, and they come in their little box as well, and I did have a couple of others. So I've got my lovely Sable. I've got my gorgeous professional, I think they're light fast as well, most of them, professional watercolors from Winsor & Newton. And I like to use a porcelain. I'm going off plastic big style. Oh, sorry, guys, I've lost chat. Oops, I've lost chat, guys, sorry. Oh, yes, we said cheers to painkillers. Here we go. Mine have got stuck as usual. Right, so I really would like that. So when I design my, I might do a left-handed one and a right-handed one, because if you're left-handed, you really want to be there. But hey, because that's too much for me. It is. I think. Well, it's not. Technically, it's not porcelain. It's old china. This one, isn't it? Yes, it's just a little. But it's a plate. Any cheap. I mean, you go to Wilko's, and I think they're about £1. And you know, it's especially with the markers, it's lovely. And of course, the beautiful thing about these is that's not wasted. The minute I put a wet brush onto that, it'll come back. But I normally put my hand on there, don't I? But we'll see how we go. I might work in the bottom, actually. It's got a bit dusty, this one. I had a lovely little saucer that I was using last time and found it in 2 pieces. So I wasn't happy about that because there was a lot of colour on it. Now, a good trick, although I'm very frugal, so it doesn't really matter. This is clean water. No, it doesn't look it because I can't be bothered to wash it. Sorry, guys. My hands really can't be bothered to it. You always, if you're using any kind of, well, any kind of watercolor, any water-based medium, you nearly always have to have, and if you have 3, it's even better. You want 2 troughs or 2 jam jars. One is to wash the brush. The other one is then to dunk in clean, so your brush has got clean water on it. This is to clean it. Oh, it's the other way around in my case. That cleans it. That's to dunk. So always have 2 pots of water. Oh, Suzanne says if you get stick with plastic palette, you can rough it up with toothpaste. Works well. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. But again, that would just wash off with soapy water. In fact, it would probably come off without. I didn't count the bong. Sorry, guys. I bet it's not 12 though. Is anybody counting the bongs? Oh, hi, Kingo. Welcome to Bunny's Designs. Right, so we've got 5, a 3, and a 2. This could be a 6, a 4. Oh, I've got a 3 and a 2, so it should really be a 1, but hey-ho. This could be a 6, a 4, and a 2. Or if it was a bigger space, it might be a, and so on. It's better to have a gap. There's no real reason to buy a full set of paintbrushes because you normally use every other one. So instead of buying 7, just buy 4 and buy every other one. And you find it's because you see, if you look at these two, that's a 2 and a 3. But you put a 5 next to the 3 and you've got a difference. So really, it's because the 2 came in the pot, I think. I do need a 0 though, so let me get another one out. I don't think I have a 1, but we'll have a look. I keep my brilliant 99p for a Winsor & Newton Series 7. Oops, I had another lunch. Famous one that I had when I was a student. And that could be a number 1. No, that's the number 2, but it's really, and that's a Series 16. And that one is one that I had when I was at uni when I was 16. Sorry, when I was at Leeds Jacob Cramer Art College. When I was 16, and I've still got it. It's a bit furry on the edges, but I still got it. That was the last time that I bought proper sable. No, I don't have a number 1, so I'm going to bring out the 00. And again, I think I have another 00 one. I did put the pure sables in here. This one is a 00. I think because I've got 2. That's the one that came. A 3, a 2, and a 00. But because I've already got a 00, I'm using mine. And if I twist it, yep, it still goes to a point. So I shall pop those away because Bungle has got a wonderful new occupation. He likes to chew my paintbrushes. So they're going away. Has anybody got any questions? The bag for the brushes actually came with it. It's in one of the art halls. I did keep, spare me a second, I did keep the piece of paper. I have 2 of these old brushes. I have 2 of these old plates. Just go with me. It should be here. I did keep it. It's like everything else. I can't find it. I will dig it out, but if you go on the website, 3 brushes are in the set, and it's the Winsor & Newton pouch, and it comes with 3 brushes. So it came with the number 5, the number 3, and the 00. And I've left that one there because obviously I've got an old one, so I'm using that one. But if I didn't, obviously I'd just have 3 of the Winsor & Newtons. I've just put the sable ones in because these are pure sable, and this, I know these are my best paintbrushes. I think it says they're 40 some pounds, but I think at Cass Art they're a bit cheaper. If you bear with me, I'll have a quick look. Sorry about the rabbit trail, guys. Just bear with me a second. Wins. I'll put it on the Cassart one. Cassart. And the other thing about Cassart is the set of, and I hate to do this because I would love, if I was really, really well off, I would buy all my things from the Derwent Pencil Company direct. But I just can't afford it. There's such a big difference. Winsor and Winsor Seconds Newton watercolor brush. Now I know there's a lot of other places that do discount as well. So there's a Winsor Newton brush you can buy for $7.25 in a single little box. But this is the box that I bought, $39.95. Now I for £40-50. So this is what you want to look for, and it's quite handy because you probably aren't going to buy hundreds of these. Oh, go away, press the wrong button. So that's what I've got. I kept that. It says contains 4 Series 7 Winsor color brushes, Series 7. So they're about £7 to £10 each. But as I say, they had them on for £40. And of course, the bigger brushes are normally double that. And when you open it, you see just what's in mine. And so it tells you get a 3 and a 5. Let me bear with me. You get it normally tells you what you get. It says the total individual value is $64.50. And they're £40. And I think 002, 3 and 5. Yeah, so that's you get 4. Sorry guys, you get 4. Was that okay? Is that what you and I did a haul before I was pulling and not managed to do it until last week. I did buy some others. Just have to put that in there because it's no doubt it wants cleaning, does that. Just my old phone case that I don't know what to do with. Has anybody else got any questions? So they're sprayed out again, but and I'm going to put that on there because it wants to be wet. That will get wetter and wetter, but kitchen roll is the next best thing. But toilet paper or any other tissue will disintegrate. This will stay like this for a week or so. If you're not using obviously tons and tons of color, which I don't want to do. So they're all in there. That big one is for a big space. Obviously a smaller is for a small space. So I think I'm going to put that there and put these here. So we've got cadmium orange hue, cadmium red pale, that should be cadmium red hue, and then we've got cadmium red deep. So they're all cads, those, and they have quite a good light fastness. Permanence A, and we've got raw sienna, we've got sap green, hooker's green dark, and then I like indigo because add that to the blues, really gives some dark shadows. And this is mauve. Mauve? I thought it was dioxidine purple. Wait a second. Yeah, I don't want mauve. I want dioxidine purple. So I want dioxidine purple because, again, it's a good permanency. And if I add dioxidine purple to a cad red, I will get a carmine, a burnt carmine. I'll do the old middle cad red. So middle cad red. So I don't use the bullet end. If you put these directly onto here, they'll go through. So cad red and dioxidine purple, barely damp brush, and look at that beautiful piece of paper, piece of paper. It's not what I wanted to do. Ew. Oh, I stuck them all in, didn't I? Oopsie. Yep, I did. Sorry, guys. Piece of paper. And we have... Oh, didn't need to do that. I don't normally work really wet. A carmine. Obviously, it's too wet there. I don't know why I wet the brush like a dip. Honestly, I'm sorry, guys. The brain is obviously... Oh, I have to put this away. Sorry, I really made a boo-boo with that. Why tore the page out? Oh, well, don't like it anyway. I have to put them safe, though. I must do that soon because they are getting trashed like that, and I hate things to get trashed. So we'll do that again because I did a boo-boo. So dioxidine violet, and again, the reason that one's in this set is because these are light fast. And there's a cadmium red deep. I've lost my cad red. Just cad red. See the difference? It's just that bit lighter. That's a bit pinker. So we've got cad red and we've got a lovely deep rich red purple. Too much and you've got, that's like a burnt carmine, I suppose. And then you can take it, and of course it's not exactly because you've mixed it yourself, but you know that next to a red is a lovely shadow. So you can I normally use French ultramarine and cad red, but I don't have French ultramarine. And again, I make French ultramarine with cad red. That's like burnt carmine. So that's the burnt carmine, and then more. That's a darker, deep, darker purple. Oh, I've done it again with that. And then there is a phthalo, a cerulean blue. So remember my 6 colours include cerulean blue and cadmium red. It's a very dark French ultramarine, because remember, I always say it's really hard to make a French ultramarine. Turn that over because I did a boo-boo. Because I do like to work with a damp brush when I'm working with ordinary paper. If we're working a watercolour, it's not a problem. You can work as wet as you want. And I wouldn't use these. Oh, sorry, I'm making such a mess today. I'll put that under there and I've got it. Right. Any more questions? So do we think, because I have a big problem with when I watch these videos back, the quality is really bad. So I'm hoping that by having all this colour about, maybe put that out as well. I do have some very pretty wallpaper, not wallpaper, oh my goodness me, everything has disappeared. I have a very pretty butterfly print, and I'm probably going to cover the desk with it, take the mat off. But again, I'm just not organised, and I've got some bits in my coffee. This cup had a chip in it, but because I'm left-handed, I'll show you when I've drunk. It's a very pretty butterfly, and we had 4 in the Abbey. And I asked this when I put aside, don't throw it away, because I'm left-handed. I want to use it as my staff cup because it's a really big, nice cup. Alfie Cross. He just wanders in and you ask Suzanne how he is. He just wanders in and out all day, except for when I'm poorly and he does sleep with me. But he wanders up and down and in and out. And we're desperate for a little friend, but just cannot seem to find one yet. And hubby said no. Is that any better, Suzanne? Oh, thank you, Kingo. Is that any better, Suzanne? He is Suzanne. He makes one and he is one. He's a little Shih Tzu. He's not a King Charles Spaniel. He's a little Shih Tzu. I'm not saying anything else. Right, I'll pop that one back there so I know what it is. I do like them in colour order because sometimes it's a bit of a faff to kind of, in fact, I'm going to put those there. Because we've gone for those colours. I don't know if anybody else has that problem with the YouTube. Oh, my camera's a bit skewy. It's going to be quite hard for me to work there, but just move across. Something very awkward about not being in the middle of your desk, but that's going to be better for me. It's not brilliant, unfortunately. The shoulder's not very good. Yeah, well, I was being polite, Suzanne. Right. I'll do a little bit of the technique and then I'll zoom in so you can see how wonderful these paintbrushes are. And when I bought them, I thought, I'm not going to use them in the colour books. Definitely not. But because I don't feel very well, there is something wonderful, even in a colour book, about using professional watercolours and professional brushes. There's just something blooming nice about it. This particular thing here, this setup, a palette, it can be a saucer. A saucer for this size is probably the right size, or a tea plate, what we used to call a tea plate, or a bread plate, a side plate. This is quite big, and I had a saucer, but it was kind of a bigger saucer, and it was perfect. But go to a junk shop, charity shop, jumble sale, yard sale, pick up a little white plate, or because it doesn't have to be china, it can be porcelain. And actually probably the new version of pot, which is quite chunky, and it'll go in the dishwasher. It's got more, it's going to last you longer. This is almost going grazed because it's about 100 years old. So but of course, if you can get a granny plate, I think this is from a great aunt, there's something again nice. I'm using a great aunt's that's no longer with us. I'm using one of her plates. So every time I look at it, it reminds me of her. And there's something quite nice about that. And again, I'm trying to get away from plastic because it's just not a nice substance. I know we shouldn't say that, but yeah, I mean, I'm still here. I'm still fairly healthy, and I've got dodgy kidneys. I was born with dodgy kidneys, and we used to salt meat and hang them in the kitchen. And believe me, the salt was that thick. And in summer, we had no central heating. The kitchen was at the back, so the back kitchen, the meat was always covered with flies. We didn't have fly killers in those days. I think we had fly swats in the 60s, but the meat was hanging up in the kitchen, completely covered in we used to salt it. So you'd cover it in salt, but it'd end up like, I think it's like salt bocca. Is it bocca salt? There's a fish that's from, I don't think it's Russian. I think it's from the Baltics, and you bake it in salt, and then you have to crack it, and you end up almost like a batter. And the fish is slightly salty, but it's not too salty. And we used to do the meat, and I'm not joking, it was that thick with a hard crust that we used to use a wooden rolling pin. When we wanted to do the meat, you'd soak it, you'd crack all the salt off, and you'd throw it away, and that's what you'd use. I'm still here. And wrapping things in plastic, as we know now, is not particularly good, because if the food comes into contact with the plastic, it's gonna, some plastics seek nasties. We used to salt in my mother's sweet jars, the big old-fashioned sweet jars. We used to salt runner beans because we used to grow beans, and we used to salt them. And when you ate them and cooked them, they never tasted of salt. So I think the old-fashioned canning, salting, and freezing is far better than wrapping anything in plastic a million times and causing the planet, to kind of, I mean, you could even keep the salt and chuck it on the step when it's free. I don't think we actually threw it away. I think we threw it on the step. So I think the old-fashioned ways are good. And again, I've got really dodgy kidneys. I was born with CKD, chronic kidney disease, stage 3, and I was born with that. So you've really got to be careful what you eat. And I'm 56. I was 56 a couple of weeks ago, and my kidneys are still the same. And yet, that's how we didn't have a freezer. We didn't have a fridge. And we were so poor that we had one bottle of milk every 4 days, and that was for my mum's cup of tea. I didn't have a glass of milk until she died when I was 11. I went to live with an aunt when she was first ill, and I actually had a glass of milk and a biscuit, and that was like, wow, a glass of milk, wow. And it was from the fridge, and I was 11, probably going on 12. So, and I must admit, I'm a lot better now. I don't have cow's milk. I used to have soya, but now I have rice milk. And I never had any menopausal problems at all. Sorry, guys, if you're just here for the art, I apologize. Because I read many years ago, but my arthritis, I've got 2, and I've got the lumpy one. But I don't have any soreness. There's no jelly. Normally, your hands are puffed up like a balloon, and it's like a squishy jelly. I don't have any of that because I don't have cow's milk. I don't have any of that. Now, it's when they are swollen before, I couldn't do anything with them. But because I have rice milk, the puffiness never comes. I've got the ordinary pain that if I knock them, they hurt, and if I use them, they hurt. But normally, my hand used to be like a fat jelly, and my rings, we thought I'd have to have them cut off, and yet they're complete. Even my wedding ring, and that's my mum-in-law's wedding ring. I have my husband's my mother's great grandmother's wedding ring, and he wears the husband's signet ring because it has Charlie Cross on it, and I've got the grandmother's. And that I used to have real problems with it because obviously they had tiny fingers in the turn of the century, or not this century, the last century, the 1900s. So my fingers are a lot thinner than they used to be. I mean, the thumb is bad, but that one is the pseudo gout, and it destroys the joint. But this one isn't. This is the other arthritis, the wear and tear one, where you get the bobbles. And again, I want to go through the diet I have and how things have helped me on that other channel, because obviously it's quite boring for somebody who's 16, who's absolutely fine and just wants to know about colouring the pumpkin in Phantomorphia. And so I apologise for that, guys. Bit of a rabbit trail, but it allows me with a nice soft brush, and it's going to be interesting because I'm going to be buying these pencils, but I've read that they're really oily. The Lightfast from Derwent, and because I want to do a portrait of Alfie. Don't know why, Suzanne, but I'd be able to hopefully use them. But I wouldn't be able to do half the things I do. I mean, the wrists are really hurting at the minute because I've been picking things up. But I wouldn't be able to do half the things I do if I was on cow's milk. And I drink a lot of tea, so you could say I probably have a pint a day. And I'm doing Slimming World, and the rice milk, you can have a litre. The unsweetened rice milk, you can have a litre. Whereas if you're having cow's milk, you can only have a small jug or a medium jug. But the fact that I can do this is so much better. Sorry, Alfie's having a... Yeah, Daddy says nobody's there, but Alfie wants to bark anyway. We'll have a quick Alfie come at the end as well. Sorry, guys. It's going to 3 hours of sheer waffling. Just let me write this down very quickly. Oh, Alfie Cross. And the other thing about using old grandma's buckles, granddad buckles, I've got a couple of RAF things that my dad had in the wall, and I wouldn't do it if I was taking this out like my other Midori, but because this one's not going to leave the house, I might put more precious things on. I bought this secondhand, so it was on a handbag, I think. And old handbags, do not get rid of the buckles, even if it's plastic. Cut everything off and keep them. And again, in the one of the other videos, I'll show how I keep all my buttons, and my daughter loves it because she says, Mum, and she said, I'm not going to ask if you've got a black button, because she knows I've got like in tackle boxes, I've got all my beads and my buttons all in color order, and again, I'm going to go through that in the craft section. But I have hundreds of buckles and beads, and I've got some of my mum's beads, which are huge. I've got shirt buttons that are made from Granddad's old shirt buttons, which are mother of pearl, and there's proper glass buttons, and they are, because they're kind of from maybe from an old favorite jumper or your mum's jumper or things like that. They make things more personal and more precious. Whereas you might not want to put the button on a particular blouse. Sorry, the grandfather clock's going. So it's nice to have nice things. And although I did take this apart, I actually kept the gusset. It's the gusset bit here. I've kept this. So if I always think, well, actually, I loved it as a handbag, I can just sew it back in. No problem. Absolutely no problem. And it will become the clutch bag, because I had already lost the old-fashioned, it was obviously a clutch bag and a shoulder bag. But I left it like this, or I could take this off, and again, it would become a proper Midori. And I can take this off because it's stitched and keep it. There's all sorts of things you can do with old things, and they seem to have whether I'm getting old, I don't know. It's just nice to have things and use them in everyday way that they weren't you, but they've still got the memories. Does that make sense, guys? Oh, right. So is everybody having that? Okay, so it's been 3 hours. I'll restart, darling. So I'm not sure how you get off that and then get back on it, because it'll still show that this is live. So apologize, guys. So I probably might edit a lot of this out, because it's all waffle and Yorkshire waffle. So I'll restart, guys. So if you want to go, if you want to come out of eBay, if you want to come out of YouTube and then go back in, you might find me again. Is that okay, guys? So hope to see you in a minute. I'm going to stop and restart. Is that okay, guys? So you may have to come out of YouTube, because if you don't, you'll still be stuck in the old chat of this finished live show. I can't explain it any better. I'm really sorry, guys. My brain is completely scrambled. I really hope it's not going to be permanent, because I'm losing my marbles. Okay, guys. So if you're watching on YouTube, guys, part 2 will be whatever that is, a pumpkin. If I get any worse, guys, I think they're going to have to lock me up with Alfie. So see you in a minute, guys. I'm going to stop and restart. Thanks for watching. Hope everybody's fine. See you in a bit.